Hello, Atlantia.
Hola, Atlantia.
So we're coming to you today dressed in our modern clothes because we've had a very modern weekend. We've tried to clean up the yard, do maintenance on the house that we put off, and basically get ready for the holiday season as it comes to us in very short order with whatever abbreviations that means in our current times and conditions. So today we're talking to you without our garb on. So
Just imagine.
or try not to.
Or try that.
So we've got a pretty full schedule to talk about tonight, and although it seems like we're in kind of a slow period, it's actually a very active period. So I think first on the list is Unevent, which comes up December 5th and December 6th, and we are planning to attend both days of Unevent naturally, and our schedule is going to be that we're attending the Kingdom's Orders of Merit as well as the peerages. All of those meetings we'll host. We're going to take the first part of the meeting. We'll go through the agenda that we've planned, and then we will release the rest of the meeting to the order to go through what actions they have internally. We've sent out some notifications to the orders and some questions to the peerages to help us drive our agenda, and look forward to seeing those responses over the next few days. Officers. We meet with the officers every 2 weeks of the Kingdom. We have a great meeting. We feel very aligned with what's going on. And officers who want us to attend their meetings know already they're going to reach out to us and ask us to join. But we don't feel any real compelling issue to join because we feel fully aligned with the policies and the procedures that the officers are doing at this point. There's just great communication. Let's see. Other things with Unevent, I just recommend that if you've got different positions within the Kingdom, members of different orders, please carve out the time to be able to support Unevent as you would if it was in person. I think Unevent is one of these events that's going to, as we go forward, is going to look really good as a virtual event because there's really no reason that everyone can't attend at all times. So
it does take travel out of the equation.
Yep.
So unless you have work or you're not feeling well or you have another commitment, you can join.
Right. So that's our plans for Unevent. We have a lot of business to get through with it. So hopefully you can join us there. Crown Tourney. You want to talk about Crown Tourney?
Crown Tourney. So Crown Tourney, right now that is set for the first weekend in February. We're playing it by ear. Right now we're still assuming that's going to happen, but as I said, we're playing it by ear. We know that the numbers are up and we're in the middle of, we're actually beginning flu season too. So, as we get updates, you'll hear more. We have started to receive letters of intent, and thank you for people who've sent them so far. Continue to send in your letters of intent. We'll take them through December. And any letters of intent that come in, if we have to move Amir, if I have to move Crown Tournament to a later date, those letters of intent will still be good. Okay.
Okay, let's repeat that. Letters of intent, as they come in, are viable for whenever Crown Tourney is going to be. Our plan right now is that it's in the 1st of February. If something happens and we have to move it, those letters of intent are still viable. So that's the way we're going to move forward.
They're still good.
Yeah. Next topic. We did a polling of the Kingdom and asked you whether you were willing to accept virtual awards or only wanted awards in person. And we did that for seems like it was like a 40-day period. Maybe it was a 30-day period that we did the polling valid for. And then we locked it till the end of January. We're going to open that back up again, and we're going to ask the same questions again. So please understand when you get it, what we're asking for is, we know your preference is to receive an in-person award. Are you willing to receive a virtual award? And there's no right or wrong answer. And realize that for us, our intention is to be able to pass this list on for the next 6 months to our heirs when that occurs. Our plans are to step down April 1st or the first weekend or whatever it is, second
Coronation weekend. second
Coronation weekend. And then that will leave a couple months for our heirs to be working with the same list. So give thought to it. We're not prescribing the answer to you one way or the other, and we're not thinking that there's a preference. We just really want to know what your preference is and what you're thinking. You've had an opportunity to see how the virtual courts work, what we're trying to do with them. So we'd appreciate any feedback you have for us on that subject.
Absolutely. And you guys have seen virtual vigils and how those work. They've actually worked pretty well. We've been very pleased overall with that. And some of you may have changed your mind now. I mean, I think we all have to give thought to the fact that when we originally did this, we hoped that this COVID issue would be resolved by now, right? We were hoping the numbers would be good and live in-person events would be able to take place. And now we're looking at the numbers are back up and we don't know again when in-person events are going to be able to take place. So, take that into consideration and give it some thought and decide whether maybe you've changed your mind or not, or either way, you didn't like a virtual one and you don't want to do it anymore, or you have changed your mind and you're willing to accept one.
I think we'll cut back to what I said earlier. There's no right or wrong answer.
There's not.
It's your preference, and we're here to support that. So look for that mail. We'll get it out in the next 30 days, I suspect. Something in there.
I suspect so. And we will open it up before January.
Oh, yeah.
Because there has to be event planning for February and going forward.
Yeah. So one thing of interest is the board of directors recently reached out to the royalty of the known world and said, give us your opinions on what we should be doing in COVID and how COVID should be administered by the society and what are some key things. They had some direct questions for us. On a high level, one of the things they asked was, who should be making policy about basically how events happen and things of that nature? Our response as your king and queen was this: we believe that there's been enough time now dealing with COVID as within the society that those types of decisions should move to local kingdoms. There's enough expertise. There should be enough planning in place. I certainly feel that way within Atlantia. Other kingdoms maybe aren't as mature as we are with dealing with it, and I know from talking with folks that they're working to get that way, but we have the advantage of only speaking about Atlantia. Atlantia is in a position with the work that our seneschal's done, with the support of the other great officers, to really make some really, really crisp decisions and give some leadership about when should we open for this event? When should we open for that event? Our guidance went further to say that we believe that the most important events that would be opening would be small local events. We need to start re-energizing the energy when the time is right, when the numbers start falling the right way, with the right precautions. We're fully supportive of all the PPEs, supportive of proper procedures. But when those things can be put in place, we should not necessarily open with a kingdom level event looking at 500 people. We should be looking at a local canton event with 25 people. And we should try to build the community back as the community was built, at the grassroots level, building up to something more than that. So that was our biggest recommendation. We also discussed with the board of directors, and we would like to see an updating of financial policies where we're taking money by PayPal. We would like to be able to refund money by PayPal. Right now, the refund policy is a little bit tedious. We don't want this to be the case where we have events and then we have to cancel them because of COVID numbers and things, but we know that's the reality going forward. So we just want to be able to be very transparent with everyone, and we want to encourage pre-registration. And to do that, we believe the money coming in and the money coming out has to be very clear and no real significant timeline to that to anybody. We also discussed how publications work, and we talked about getting the Acorn as well as other publications done by the society on a quicker cycle instead of being on so much a print cycle as being on more of a virtual cycle, because the information is becoming dated. It's nothing about our chronicler. Our chronicler does a fantastic job. She is completely tied to a schedule that's prescribed by society. But we all know that things are happening within the 30 days to submit to the ACORN, 30 days to publish. It's an unfair task that we've given to her to do, to try to stay current. And a lot of our laws are tied to what's published in the ACORN and things of that nature. So we've asked them for some forward thinking about how to make our communications more responsive by utilizing the chronicler and their skills in a much more focused way as we communicate with each other today. So these are the things that we really talked about in our mail back to the board of directors. And I know that the Seneschal has some feedback to provide to them, and not going to guess what those words are. We don't conspire to do it together. We give our best thoughts and move forward. But we're very, very aligned with Duchess Simone, and talk often about what do we need to do to help support the kingdom. So anyway, that's what we did there. So a little bit of a dry subject. Thought we'd take that in the middle of court so we didn't put you to sleep at the end of it. But anyway, Amir is scheduled for the latter part of February. That event has been canceled as an in-person event. Well, canceled is the wrong word. It's been delayed.
It's been postponed.
And it's going to move out for the tournament and in-person part. But we have asked Their Excellencies of Windmasters Hill to keep the name viable, because we have court planned for the Amir weekend, and we have already released scrolls for the scribes to make that are going to reference the tourney of Amir. So we're going to do a virtual court for Amir, and then there will be an actual tournament of Amir that happens later on in the year. Now, Windmasters, being very particularly clever in this, has done it as the Amir giant is sleeping, and the Amir giant will wake up for the virtual event. So
it's going to be like the blue moon. You'll have 2 Amirs in 1 year.
So we appreciate their flexibility and their support, because the last thing we want to really do is ask scribes to make beautiful scrolls and then tell them that we can't use them because the event's changing. So we're going to be creative like this, and you're going to see more of this in the future, I think. But just be aware, we are thankful of the scribal arts that we have, and we want to be respectful of those artisans' work, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure that those concerns are respected. Gulf Wars. You want to talk about Gulf Wars?
Gulf Wars. Right now, Gulf Wars is still on the schedule. It is still open. They're still planning. I did notice, I went on the website and looked at it, and they have delayed registration. So that tells me, they're still planning, but they also understand that things could have a hiccup. So everybody be patient. Hopefully it will still occur, but March, it seems like it's a long ways away, but it's really not. As well as you guys know, anybody who's been an autocrat, that you reach a certain date, and that day is when you have to pay for all your infrastructure costs, your toilets, your hand washing stations, your dumpsters for trash, your golf carts, your table rentals. So once you hit that point, that date, a decision's got to be made. And it's a lot further in advance for a big event like a war than it is for smaller events. So all we can do is hope for the best, and the website is keeping everybody updated. So remember to check it if you have any desire or plans to want to go to Gulf.
Okay, so this week we've got a call out, and this week's call out is really a tribute to how do you work in a COVID environment in a volunteer organization, and trying to keep interest and trying to respect the rules that society has given you, and move our dream forward. So I'd like to call out Sir Elaine, and his work at supporting fighting and trying to do so in a safe, effective, friendly manner, but let me stress safe. I've witnessed, I've been a part of. He's been willing to take constructive criticism about ideas and practices.
Unofficial practices. Yeah.
Unofficial practices, yes. He's taken things off the schedule and moved forward as conditions look like, well, that didn't look like such a great idea. But he's been really responsible and really willing to be part of the discussion. So, Sir Elaine, thank you for everything that you do.
Yes, thank you.
Next, 12th night. You want to give us a 12th night update?
12th night. All right, so 12th night is scheduled for the second weekend in January.
Mm-hmm.
It is our Catalan court, and Duchess Shauna is the autocrat for that. I know that you guys may have been looking for updates on that, and they've been a little slow in coming because life has happened for Grace and some other people who are working on it. But you should start to see updates this week. I know I saw an update for Tempora Atlantia from Marion, the Kingdom A&S officer. So thank you for getting that on there, Marion. And we should see further updates about activities for 12th night starting this week.
Okay, so final thing is I look tired and old. Leonard looks wonderful.
Yeah,
I need some airs.
We need airs.
I need to be replaced before we have a state funeral.
No, don't you dare leave.
So we don't want to give the impression that we're not planning on a crown tourney. We are. Train safely. We're going to fight in mask. You got one more thing. This is my big final.
I know. Hold on. Sorry, I interrupted his final. His state funeral.
5-weapon final. Don't have to match weapons forms. Can repeat the last fight.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's all I got.
That's all he's got. Okay. December, the second weekend, December the 12th, is a virtual court up in Lockmere. And it's also Lockmere's investiture. And just everybody be prepared. Court that day is at a different time.
What time is it?
It is at, I believe, 11 a.m.
It is at 11 a.m.
So everybody has been used to our 2 p.m. courts. That court in Lockmere will be 11 a.m. So, set your time, get your alarm going. Lady Megan, if you're having Margaret, if you're having a watch party, make certain it's 11 a.m. this time instead of 2 p.m. So a little bit of a change. I just wanted to make certain everybody knew. Yes.
You good?
I'm good.
Final thing, got a new furnace in for the glass shop. Got to get that online, and hopefully we can have some fun with that. So glass blowers, we should talk sometime. Hope everybody has a great day. Thank you so much.
And you guys have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate, or great time off if you get a chance.
But be safe, be smart. Don't be afraid of a mask. We want every one of you to be there when we restart in person. Cheers, you guys.
Good night, Atlantia.